Well, welcome to the channel, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thanks for coming on. Just a recapitulation, we noticed that the protection for ourselves with people that we're not sure of or we've just met is to watch our tongue and to keep our mouth shut. Don't give away too much information. That information will be used against you as the relationship goes into a devaluation stage, particularly if you're around covert narcissists, malignant narcissists. So watch your tongue, keep your mouth shut, and you'll stay out of trouble. Usually when we speak of our troubles, which really does take down our defenses and allows the enemy to have, or the person to have, fuel, information and advantages over us, so that when they start, they can pull us down. They'll actually act out, they'll put into play rehearsal, because narcissists mirror. They'll do exactly what you said you didn't like. It's just how it works. We found out that narcissists are mockers, and they're proud and haughty, and they're boundlessly arrogant. That's just how they are. And now we come to verse 25 of Proverbs 21, where we find out, despite their desires, the lazy narcissist will come to ruin, and that's psychologically lazy, for their hands refuse to do the work, to do the psychological work. Now, these desires can be manifest and diverse. Say, for instance, the narcissist meets a fuel supply that's into bestiality. Well, the narcissist will go along with the bestiality. They could have a dog in the bed. They could have, say, a narcissist has a fuel supply that's into incest. Well, the narcissist will go along with incest. They'll have their sons or daughters coming in to get involved in a threesome act or orgy type act. Say the narcissist meets a man that likes his mates to be involved. Well, the narcissist will play along with that. And it's all about control. See, it's putting themselves in position where they're getting influence over the supply via mirroring. They're playing the game. They don't have to do anything except play the game. They're not emotionally attached. They're not being affected at all. They're just mirroring along, and they're gaining control because they're in agreement with the person, which means the person will come back if it suits them for that person to come back. I mean, some narcissists have limits as well. You'll find that if they're a woman, they will like other women if the opportunity arises and the moment's right. As I said before, they will be involved in cuckoldry, be it the husband or the wife. Whatever's going at that moment and the blood's flowing, they will, in their lazy, psychological way, play along with whatever's happening to gain control and influence and security over their form of supply. It's all about supply. These people lose supply all the time. And so whatever's going on at that time, and as they get older, they degenerate into all sorts of lazy, reckless sexual activities. And each to their own. I'm just saying, this is what you can expect from the narcissist. That's why they end up they just stray from common sense, and they end up in the company of anyone. Doesn't matter at that time, as long as it's working at that time. It's all about at that time and in that moment, because they don't care if something's permanent or not. They're usually asexual. They can usually retreat into themselves, although supply is first and foremost. They can, if necessary, on a recalibration note, come back to themselves before they reinitiate their prowling and predatorial prowess back into the dating marketplace. And again, as I said, if they meet, say a woman meets a man that likes to walk around in her high heels and undies and bra, she'll accommodate that. She might have the lady next door come over for a cup of tea and they brush against other, and the next minute they accommodate that. The narcissist really has no ultimate preference. It's all about supply, gaining control, and grooming and maintaining and sustaining those sources of supply. You might think you're in an exclusive relationship with a narcissist. You've identified this, you have the wisdom, you've worked out what a narcissist is, you understand how they work and what they do, and you've realized all of a sudden that this person that you've been with is a narc, a covert narcissist. You haven't said anything, you just know that they are. Well, you have to understand that you are not the only source of their supply. Even if they're saying to you it's exclusive, you're not. They'll have orbiters, they'll be speaking to people. If the resentment in the relationship starts, then you can guarantee that they're going to look for outside sources for soothing at some point, and you will need to understand that this is ultimately you will be devalued. Whatever happens, no matter how hard you try, you will be conquered by the narcissist if you don't cut that person off. You have to cut them off and go complete no contact once you identify who they are or what they are. Because psychologically they'll drain you and destroy you without any emotional credence at all. They just return to their default, lick their lips, wipe their hands, and go on. You are not building a relationship with a covert narcissist. It's not possible. You are just a source of supply. You have to be wise and be able to conquer and identify what you're dealing with and level the fortress in which they trust. And you know what their trust is? Your ignorance. If you level their fortress, if you level the fact that you're ignorant of what a covert or personality disordered person is, and that you understand now that you are just a means of supply, then you can conquer their fantasy that you're ignorant and that you'll just go along with whatever they do. Because these people have boundless arrogance. I've watched them turn up and go, there's so much unresolved, I don't even know why this person's turning up, because it's not about the unresolved. It's about the supply. It's not about the emotional damage. It's about the supply. It's not about the emotional starvation. It's about the supply. And the narcissist feeds on these desires. And despite their desires, right, despite what the desires are doing to them, their laziness of self-consciousness, their laziness towards what the consequences are and how they're ending up. They keep smoking, they stay in their addictions, they stay in their emotional incest, they stay in their pursuit of hiding in their work, even though they say work's not important. There's so many attributes that can be contributed to their desires, right? They use work as a place to prowl, to look for supply. That's just how it is. Because they need to gain control over people, so they have multiple sources of supply, so as they're exposed, they have other forms of supply. I've split up with girls and they've been on the internet that afternoon. No problem. Good luck to you. They have nothing and they end up with nothing. Just brokenness and sadness. Their children are ruined. And it's generational. They just pass it on. But despite all the damage that their desires are doing to them and demonstrating to them. And you can tell them, look, honestly, if you just fix this, we can move forward. They'll look at you like a white pointer swimming past with a black eye. They hear you, they see you, they know you're there, they know what their relationship between you is, but they will not bring resolve because they're running on their desires. Now, Ephesians, I'll quickly go to Ephesians. I don't normally do this, but I'll quickly go to Ephesians. I just want to show you, we got sirens again. Sorry about the background noise, viewers. Ephesians 4. I don't normally do this, but I'll do this time. Around the 20 mark here. But it isn't that you learned about, but that isn't what you learned about Christ. Okay, when you learn about Christ, you learn about order, success, empathy, and how to overcome narcissists and stuff. Since you have heard about Jesus and have learned the truth that comes from him, a lot of narcissists will speak about truth, but it's only as far as what their perception of truth is. Throw off your old nature. Your old nature is the desires we're talking about despite their desires, back in Proverbs 21. This is it, the old sinful nature. And your former way of life. This is the narcissistic sinful nature. Narcissism's only one trait, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Okay, so they're deceived by their lust and they're corrupted by their lust. This is what I'm talking about. This is despite their desires. Okay, this is the desires, which is corrupted by lust. Their lust, there it is there, which comes from our inward sinful nature. We have to accept, we might not realize it, but we have a sinful nature. And that sinful nature corrupts us by the sensations of lust. That's how it gets its claws into us. That's how it manipulates us. Like the narcissist might meet somebody and be as good as gold, but when the lust starts, the next thing they're in a threesome, or their husband's friend from next door, lady friends come in, and all these varieties and different things. Because when the lust comes in, they're corrupted by it, they like it, and then they're deceived. They're deceived by their lust. And despite their desires, these narcissists come to ruin. They continually come to ruin. Everything around them goes to ruin. They don't think that at the time, when they're lighting up a cigarette or having another drink or complaining or backbiting or pulling down their partner with their flying monkeys. They don't think that at the time. But their mind, the narcissist's mind, hands, refuse to do the work. They refuse to self-introspect. They refuse to resolve. They refuse to be able to build a relationship. You see, whatever happens in the bedroom in a relationship that's consensual is between the two exclusive people. But with the narcissist, they'll ruin whatever they have by way of the corruption. You see, the deception and the corruption turns them away from faithfulness and genuineness and a proper contributive part in building a relationship. So they lose everything. It's just a matter of time. They just lose everything because they're lazy and refuse to do the psychological work. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Try to help you about narcissism through the scriptures. I mean, it's deep and wonderful, isn't it? Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.